Okay, just a reminder to everybody, my air conditioning's running because it's over 100 degrees.
You're fine.
But also, I just went and checked my stitches. For you guys, it's been 2 weeks. For me, it's been about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
My stitches are good, although it's definitely still bleeding a little bit, so I'm going to have to put some more gauze in my mouth when I go to bed. Welcome to Cyclops is Waiting for Me, an X-Men animated recap podcast with Wolverine and the X-Men, episode 18, Backlash. Unlike our intro, this episode has to do with the show. And I'm Rod, sorry, and this is Lucy.
Wow. But we got here about 14 minutes quicker than we did last week.
Yep.
I am JC, and today was mailbag day.
Nice.
Rod, you choose what gets shown first. Do you want to see board game or pins?
Ooh, board games sound fun.
They made an X-Men 97 Monopoly set.
I'm trying to think of how that goes. So, because that gets dark real quick, right?
It's only owning people. Like, if you look on the video feed, all of the stuff are people.
Is the jail still jail? Because it looks like
Jail's still jail. Boardwalk and Park Place are Magneto and Xavier.
So are they framing it under like recruitment? I hope they're framing it under recruitment and not.
I don't know. I don't think they actually thought about it that far.
Okay.
But the pieces included are the Wolverine cowl, Cyclops' visor, Magneto's helmet, Rogue's gloves, Gambit's card, and then Storm's thunderbolt. Like the actual bolt is right there.
I kind of like that. That's her default. You know, like I have my Storm action figure here. Whenever you get Storm, like we don't know what to do with this weather lady thing, so we're just gonna give her like a thunderbolt she can hold.
I do love that the custom currency: Wolverine is $1, Rogue is $5, Cyclops is $10, Storm is $20, Jubilee is $50, Beast is $100, and Jean Grey is $500.
Oh wow, it's an interesting denomination. Oh, I just realized too. Yeah, the Lego minifig you gave me too also defaults
comes with
the lightning. But these are like they're kind of like gauntlets.
Yep. It's just so she could hold it.
Yeah.
And then on the pin side of stuff, because I ordered the Monopoly board from Hot Topic, they also had blind box X-Men pins, which were different than the other blind box X-Men pins from Loungefly. I put them on this paper so it was easier to see them.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's a cool Storm.
Storm and Jean Grey. There we go. There's the focus. Yep. So they're very tiny, though. Like my hand for reference. Look how fucking small those are.
Yeah, it's like 2/4 of a finger. I like how too they went with. They made sure it was Jean and not Madeline.
Yes. Yep. And then also the last thing that came in today, not from Hot Topic, but apparently they had this at the Mondo booth at Comic-Con, and I just straight up didn't know about it. And then they were like, oh, buy this on our website. And of course, the second you go to the website, it's fucking sold out because it was available at Comic-Con. But I went on eBay, and Mondo Pins did the
picture?
the picture of Jean and Scott. So I probably paid about $10 more than what it cost on the floor, but to not have to wait in line for Comic-Con for a $10 difference was worth it. So
you know what's funny? I guess she's cool with me saying this because she made a whole video about it, but my friend Amanda from Swell Entertainment, she did a review of SDCC because it was her first time going, and she's wanted to go ever since she was 8, and she left early because how disappointed she was in it. And maybe some people listening don't agree, but she was like, in her head, it was set up to be like the mecca of geekdom and stuff, you know, and like the world's best cosplay. She's like, I did see a lot of cosplay, but not as much as she thought she would. She didn't know if that was a poster, pre-COVID thing. But then she was like, it seems like it has turned into like get autographs and buy exclusive merch lines.
That's 100% what it is.
And
it's,
so
it's autographs, it's merch, it's exclusives, it's if you're into panels, you go into the panels, you wait in the crazy long line for Hall H, stuff like that, and then, like we talked about on the last episode, if you're able to pull it off, you go to the big parties and get really drunk off of Mike's Harder Lemonade for All American Rejects. So.
And she even mentioned Hall H. She was like, everybody's like, don't even bother. But made a good point. I don't know if she meant to make this point, but this is what I got from what she was talking about. Like, Hall H being the hardest thing to get into is kind of like an ironic or like I guess an ironic thing, because that's the thing. If you were just a general fan, would probably be the funnest for you, right? Because you get to see like what is Marvel going to come out with in the next 5 years. That's probably the only thing like non-series, like I mean, series fans like Marvel too, but I feel like my dad would be like, oh yeah, a Black Panther movie, like that's cool, But like these niche like break off rooms and stuff, it's like, I don't know about this Dragon Ball fan film, like
yeah.
So it's like weird that's I know there's like a limitation physically to be in there, but like it sucks that that's the hardest thing to get into, and that's the thing that probably be the most appealing to the general public.
But you also have to work the most to do it, which is where it loses its appeal. So
yeah, and this is another reason I don't love going to Comic-Con. I've mentioned to friends and even on this podcast, like I'm at this age now where I need special treatment. So like, especially at a place where it's mostly waiting in lines, because I just do not like waiting in lines anymore.
yeah.
I guess if I was with like a huge group of friends that are also into the same thing, maybe it's like quality time you can spend together. But like, it seems like a lot of people want to get separate merch, right?
I mean, I only worried about merch at one booth the entire weekend. I had the Mattel booth. I knew what my appointment time was because it's a lottery system. And my rule for it is, if there is a scenario where I didn't get the booth in the lottery, if I could walk by and get it, I'm cool. But I don't do the whole like stalking the Hasbro booth to wait for a line break where I could get added to it. And I got lucky. The Savage Land set that had Rogue, Shanna the She-Devil, and Sauron that I posted online on Sunday after the meetup, somebody who was in that meetup, James and Jordan, they literally were like, we're going to take a walk by Hasbro. I was like, oh, we're walking to another booth. And they texted me, they're like, do you want us to get it? We're in line with no wait right now. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, so literally I just Venmo'd them on the spot, and that's how I got it. Yeah. So, but I mean, for me, it's nerd reunion. Like there are people I literally live 20 miles away from in LA, and I will see them more during the 5 days of Comic-Con than 6 months in Los Angeles. Just because you're in like a little like 8-block radius, and you're just like you're at parties with people and hanging with your friends. If you don't know what Comic-Con really is, I could see it being a turnoff for people though. So yeah,
and I guess it's also kind of similar to VidCon, where like VidCon has recently turned like this, but it sounds like Comic-Con's been like this for a while. Is the outside events are usually the bigger draw. Like you said, you went to the fandom party that was not part of Comic-Con proper. That's where the American Rejects played and stuff. And so like I mentioned, I kind of alluded to this in the last episode, but like one of the things I was invited to at Comic-Con was the Hasbro had this an event, because I did an interview with Britta Phillips, who's the singing voice of Jem from Jem and the Holograms, and they were releasing that vinyl, the re-records, but also the band Cold Slither from G.I. Joe. They became a real band, and they played a gig. I was really happy though, because like a friend that I met through you, Joe from Joe on Joe podcast.
Joe, who is on our 2-part Nightcrawler episode for the original X-Men 92. Yeah. When
Hasbro was like, when you want to go to this G.I. Joe concert? And I was like, well, here's the thing. Like, I'm not really a black metal guy. And I watched G.I. Joe growing up, but I feel like I wouldn't appreciate it enough. So I have like two friends, Jacob Givens, who's a rock metal guy, and this guy, and Joe Schlepsky, who literally has a podcast called Joe on Joe and knows the rest of the G.I. Joe community. And they're like, cool. So they went in my place. And they said they had a great time. It was like a really fun concert. But the biggest thing that I can talk about now that I've known about for weeks was Britta texted me, I'm singing a metal version of Jem and the Holograms theme song with the Cold Slither band. And I was like, that is badass. And I texted Joe right away. I was like, please take video for me. He sent me the video. It's pretty cool. I knew she could hit those high notes because of the recordings, but seeing her do it in like a dive bar with the G.I. Joe band is crazy, her hitting those notes. And also I didn't know how they were setting it up, so I guess between songs they did like G.I. Joe commercials to go in and out of different songs. And so when they went to one of the commercial breaks, they went to the Jem and the Holograms like commercial for that one, and then Britta came out and they did a metal version of Jem and the Holograms. And then the thing that I didn't even think about that was such a clever substitute was, that part in the Jem and the Holograms theme song where the Misfits come in like, we are the Misfits, our music better. So Cold Slither like, we are Cold Slither, our music's better.
Nice.
I was like, oh, that's so cool. And so it ended up becoming this like fun stage thing. So I kind of wish I was there for that. But those events. I haven't heard from anybody about what sounded fun inside the con yet.
I mean, the con floor is the con floor, man. It's
It's lines.
That's commerce. You know?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's where I got to meet Ray and C. Lenore and Allison Seeley Smith and like that whole crew. So, I dig it
awesome.
personally.
Yeah.
But it's not for everybody. Cyclops is Waiting for Me is our bi-weekly podcast series where we are going back and watching every single X-Men animated episode that we can find. This podcast started with the original 1992 X-Men, the animated series, which was building up to the release of X-Men 97. And along the way, we completed X-Men Evolution, launched our companion interview show, the Xavier Files. And since we are still, 6 months away from season 2 of X-Men 97
You were so
in
optimistic.
2026, I'm being optimistic. We are dedicating all of this year to Wolverine and the X-Men.
And some quick reminders. Also, incentive to watch this video episode. If you can see if my stitches make it or not, because they literally were put in an hour ago. Some quick reminders or a recap show about a series that started over 15 years ago. There will be spoilers. If you don't want spoiled for you, pause the podcast, watch the episode, and come back. We're currently not sponsored by or affiliated with Marvel Animation, Disney, or Disney Plus in any way, especially if I bleed on camera. I probably won't be.
It would definitely violate some of the Disney brand safety concerns. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Cyclops IWFM Pod on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook, and TikTok. And Rod, remind me, I have the idea for the pack opening stuff for...
Oh, okay.
So we have to... Because I've made it through now, at this point on the Instagram, 3 full boxes and 4 additional packs. I still have 3 more boxes worth of packs to showcase because I had a problem.
Years of content, man.
I mean, it's basically 6 months worth of content on that point. So...
Anyway, now onto the show. Today we're going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 18, titled Badlands. Oh, Backlash.
Backlash. Fuck! Did I mess it up?
It aired on August 28th, 2009, and currently sits at a 7.9 star rating on IMDb. We're getting back to the story on this one.
It felt like this should have happened like 3 weeks prior.
Kind of, yeah. And
yeah.
Especially because if you listen to the last episode, we were talking about like that seemed like an emergency episode to stick in wherever. This one had the previously on. It went back to the Sentinels. I will say I do like that. I love it when the show focuses on the Sentinels. I feel like Evo didn't do it as much.
No, because there was really only those like 2 episodes with Trask Industries and that battle that happened on the rooftop, and that was kind of it. It felt like. Yeah,
because as far as like villains, I love to hate. Like the Sentinels are definitely. I mean, you can see kind of.
Yep.
It's kind of blurry. Sentinel behind me that my buddy Tim sent me and stuff. I just think the Sentinels are a really cool villain because they're like a little bit more than just like the throwaway goons, like the Foot Clan or something. But and they have this very like classic look if you do them right. Like they're really cool. So I do like that we keep going back to them. I'm still deciding what I feel about these Scorpion Sentinel things.
The Prowlers, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, anyway, so we get the previously on about like basically all the Sentinel stuff, the Master Mold stuff. And then when we come,
you get the Kelly speech too.
Oh yeah, from early in the season.
No, that was the midway point.
Oh, was it? Okay.
That was one where the episode ended with Kelly giving his speech and Magneto giving his speech.
Oh, that one. Okay.
In mirror to each other. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about when they introduced the Prowlers.
No. This was the in response to the attacks on the MRD bases.
So then it gets into. I thought the intro was starting. This was a really
because it was also
similar.
The helicopter that is like that pseudo 3D animated helicopter, so it felt like the intro copter to me. Yeah. I thought it was too for a half second. You're not. I
actually was hovering over the skip where the skip
and it
would
wasn't
be,
popping
there,
up.
and I was like, I know I just got out of surgery, but like, I think it should be here. And like, oh, this is actually part of the story. And it's a reporter at an MRD facility talking about how all the facilities got attacked by mutants and. Long story short, he's basically saying like, and they kind of prove Senator Kelly's point that these are like violent people and stuff.
And it ended up like emboldening his actions to be more aggressive with his response to mutants.
And I know last time this came up, we didn't touch on. I'm not gonna like dwell on this either, but I'm just gonna say the same thing I did about.
Jesus Christ, yeah. Same.
I'm gonna say the same thing I did about the Superman movie. If you recognize evil in a movie world, parallel something in the real world, that's up to you individually to internalize and settle with yourself. Like how, but for me, I was like, holy crap. So so it emboldens the MRD to do more, I guess. The Prowlers are out. At that time, I was like, ooh, are the Sentinels even going to be in here, or is it just going to be Prowlers?
But they also gave it like the name where it was Phase 1 Project Wide Awake, and I was like, oh,
too close.
It feels really gross because of how close to reality it is.
Yeah.
And again, this was written in 2008, 2009. So yeah,
watch this be like where ideas came from. Anyway,
certain people thought this was a manual and not a metaphor.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so Beast, Forge, and Wolverine are back at the mansion talking, and Forge says that
you did skip a few things. So they do break into a house. They pull a woman out, which at the beginning I wasn't sure if that was Feral or if that was Wolfsbane. Based on the outfit style, I'm assuming it was Wolfsbane because it kind of gave me the same vibes as Rain or Ronnie or whatever forgot which one we're supposed to call her at this point. And they basically like, all mutants are bombs, and we're going to make them voluntarily register, or we're going to go into every single home, school, and business to find them. So
I'm going to defer to my statement earlier.
Previous statement.
But yeah, then back at the mansion, Beast, Forge, and Wolverine are talking, and Forge says that he was able to like get information out of their last mission that was actually part of the story of the season. And he's like, and also like on another weird parallel is like, yeah, it's AI. We're like, oh, God, I forgot that this was like a pre-2022 thing.
But it was also the AI that was like a hive mind AI, which luckily is not like. Luckily, we have competing AIs, which are going to bring about the end of society. But at least they're not one hive mind of all AI. So
yet, have you ever been around smart speakers when they start talking to each other?
I've seen where you can have them yell at each other and get into a fight.
Kind of. So I was at our mutual friend Mike. I was at his place before 2020, like 2018, 2019, and he had like an Alexa, Google, and maybe an Apple HomePod or whatever.
I hope he just activated like 7 people's speakers right now.
And we thought it'd be funny to get them to all interact, and they all started talking to each other and just kind of looped into conversation. And we're like, that's hilarious and just kind of terrifying.
Which one became a racist first?
Well, let's see what brand. I don't want to go there. I'm going to get sued by somebody.
We got rid of our racist AI in 2022. Stop it.
Anyways, yeah. So then I actually made the note like Master Mold ? And then they were like, he's called Master Mold, and I was like, oh, okay,
yep,
cool. So that was Master Mold, which makes sense. Like, of all the things to bring AI into, that makes sense because like I guess the language wasn't there necessarily or as common during the 92 series, and maybe even during Evo, I guess. But like,
yeah, I want to say like for AI, it was like the most you'd ever hear in 2009 was like talking about like bad video game AI. So it was never like actual AI. It was just like more, like pathfinding. Yeah,
like I have a MK2 back here. MK2 like has notoriously like cheating AI for the fight, like because it reads your button inputs to fight. It's like so, and I don't even think that's really AI the way we know it now. That's more of like a computer cheating.
No, because it wasn't learning. It was just programmed reactions.
Well, that we know of. I don't know. This thing might be probably going to take me over. We'll see.
I'm pretty sure the 1-Up arcade is not the AI that you have to worry about in the modern era.
It's the famous last words. We'll see.
Yeah.
But then it does go.
When you say goodnight, the machine says goodnight in Shang Tsung's voice, you know?
Yeah. But then it does go to the intro. When it comes back, we continue the conversation with Forge, and they put together that the AI master mold that they just discovered the existence of is the master mold that Professor Xavier was warning them about. That was like running amok in the future.
And then Beast is like, yeah, we got other shit we have to worry about first, though.
Oh yeah, he
And
was
then-
like, that's the future. I was like, but isn't the whole point of this current mission to prevent the future from happening?
Yeah, but I do love because there's the whole like Xavier was wrong, Magneto was right. At this point, we get the Kitty was right moment because Kitty was just like, we should have just decimated this thing when we went in there, and you could tell this is going to come back and haunt Wolverine like hardcore because it's like, yeah, she was right. If we just destroyed the base of this thing, this couldn't have happened the way that it did. So
yeah, and, I mentioned this in the last episode where like I think you were pointing out like it's like no, you don't breathe. You just shoot him in the head. Like that's what they should have done here with these facilities especially because I guess they were still assuming we're in an era, or I guess that is kind of the play on this episode, where it's this hinge point in technology where hive mind stuff was happening or cloud stuff was happening, but the not general public, but like it wasn't so common that the X-Men defaulted to thinking.
Right. So there was not a common thought that you just upload something to a cloud server. If you destroyed a database, you destroyed a database, and that was it. Was the common thought process at that point.
Yeah. So they were still assuming if we destroyed the one main facility, it was going to like take everything down, like the 92 series, the one single desktop computer.
Or I mean, literally, that was the premise of Terminator 2. You destroy the one robot, and in theory, it wasn't going to be able to come back and haunt them. And then they made a lot of money and needed sequels, so that went away.
Kind of like the Halloween movies, just like multiple timelines. But then we cut over to Quicksilver running over the ocean to get to Genosha. I forget where we left him off at last.
Where was it last?
What was it that Magneto gave up on him, or is that a new piece of information that we got here?
It would have been him and the Brotherhood attacking the mansion, and it was the would have been the episode where all the MRD facilities were being attacked and they were distracting the X-Men. That's where it would have been.
Okay, so I guess that so yeah, in between we find out between Quicksilver and Magneto's dialogue that like they failed at that mission. That's okay. So we're backing up a little bit
because instead of it making the humans scared, it ended up making them retaliate in a stronger manner. So
yeah.
Yep.
So backing up a little bit though, when Quicksilver first gets to Genosha, I forget what that monster thing's name is.
Seamus. The name that makes no fucking sense.
That's
Seamus.
I guess this is one of the few things that I have like an excuse not to remember because like there's no like mnemonic device to me.
Nope, nothing. There's nothing because the only Seamus that is in pop culture today is a 6'6" pale Irishman in WWE.
And he quickly like takes him down because he's faster.
He circles him and like slaps him in the face, like total like Flash style, and I was totally fine with it because it's such a waste of a character. Who gives a shit about Seamus?
And then Wanda.
But at least he's still alive, unlike Pyro, apparently.
He's still in the maybe the skeleton's down there.
I was gonna say, in there technically, yeah.
And then Wanda, who's clearly waiting in the sidelines for all this to be over, walks out. She's like me when I see like someone who's bothering or soliciting people in front of like a convenience store. I wait for like another person to go so they can take the hit for me and I can walk in. So Wanda like waits for that to happen, and then she walks out and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And they kind of squabble. Like she's like, "You're not supposed to be here." I feel like there's a understanding that hopefully we get like maybe a teeny bit of a flashback because we get a clear-cut thing almost here of like what each of the children's like,
the roles are super defined between the three kids in this episode.
So like Quicksilver says like easy for you to say, you being assigned here with your cushy life, I was on the battlefield, and then Wanda's like he's not going to be happy that you're here, and he walks into the throne room or whatever, and Magneto's talking to Polaris, and he sends her away, and I think this goes more to the point the last time we saw her and we were talking about like she must be pretty young. Or he treats her like that at least.
And incredibly sheltered,
And so he sends her away and you get this feeling that she is fairly young or at least infantilized by him. And then
he's basically like, send her away, keep her in her little glass tower kind of scenario. Yeah.
To Quicksilver's credit, he yells a lot loud enough so she can kind of hear it. So I'd like to think that little bit of that got in her head. And she's like, what does he mean by that? I wasn't even clear necessarily if she recognized him as her brother. She didn't say anything.
Like, is she that, like, or is she just, like, so trained by Magneto that it's like, yeah, he's the bad one. You don't want to be influenced by the bad brother, you know?
Like that he's Bruno, right?
Still never seen it.
Oh, such a great movie. But
I know the song, but I know nothing about it. So.
Anybody that's been part of a family where you're the one that, I guess the kitty in the situation where you're like, you're trying to point out all these legitimate things about the family, and then they just kind of hide you.
Yep.
If you've ever been that guy, you need to watch Encanto because, or for multiple reasons, but like, yeah, Bruno. Anybody who's been a Bruno knows. But anyway, so then Magneto and Quicksilver get an argument, and that's when we learn that since the last failed mission, Magneto has like disowned him basically. Yeah,
completely written him off of being like, you're not allowed back here. Like, yeah, you have no value to me, because it shows he has no emotion for Pietro at this point. It's literally just, you're a failed soldier.
Yeah, and I thought that was just him. We find out later it's the whole Brotherhood. I guess it makes sense. If he's going to disown his own son, he doesn't care about these other kids either.
I mean, Domino is really the only useful one of the group, I feel like.
Yeah.
But, like, Toad is a fuck up. Blob is just kind of like a meat shield, literally, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So he, I forget if I just watched this a minute ago, but I can't remember. Pietro, like, just runs away, or Magneto sends him away, but either way...
He tells him to never return, and that's where he tells Wanda to come in, and he's like, I need you to do something. Go call the MRD and tell him where to find Pietro. And we find out, like, even though she gives, like, the sad eyes and, like, there's tears welling up and stuff like that, she still did it.
Yeah. And that's a power move, right? To tell that to your daughter, do that to her brother, because he could have told anybody else.
Oh, yeah, it was 100% a test. Yeah. I guess the only logistic to it is maybe the only one who knows where they are, because she's his most trusted number 2, is Wanda, if you want to give it a little bit of plausibility, but, like, it's 100% a, like, yeah, you need to follow what I told you to do. So.
Yeah. And so, back at the mansion, Wolverine says he can't talk to Professor Xavier, which is interesting. There must have been something in the writer's room where they were like, well, wouldn't that be like a plot hole or something? Because they could just talk to Xavier. So it feels like someone wrote in like, oh, I can't reach Xavier. He literally just like kind of throws that out, and then they never return to it. Yeah,
I think it's kind of like what we talked about with like Emma. Like, you have to... You can't just have it be the well that you could keep tapping into, because otherwise it kind of loses, like, being interesting.
Yeah.
And later in the episode, when we do finally see Xavier, he has, like, the backpack in the thing, so I get a little bit of a vibe that he can't just turn it on command. Like, they kind of, like, they need to call each other at the same time, basically. You know? Yeah, it's like a walkie-talkie scenario.
And we've seen, in, like, not the previous episode, but like a couple episodes ago, that like there are times where Xavier's very busy doing other things like surviving.
Yeah.
So
exactly, when he's being hunted by the dog Sentinel things in the future, he really shouldn't have a phone call. So
yeah, and Warren's there, and he actually, this is the breaking point for him. He's like, yeah, this is too far, and he volunteers to help them, and they're like, won't your dad recognize you? And he's like, this has to be it. So
he literally says this is the beginning of the end, right?
Yeah. And then we get to argument between Kitty and Logan, because she's like, what do you mean I can't go? And Logan
Nightcrawler has the best reaction to that, though, because like he's standing, like, as you hear the argument in the background, he's like, yeah, he wanted me to tell him, and I said I'd rather fight 100 Sentinels than be the one to tell her she can't go on this mission.
So funny. I like that they're still kind of close in this series. But Logan does have a good point, because good on them for keeping the storyline. This would have been a very easy plot point to lose throughout the series.
Just forgetting about Tildy.
Yes.
And this is where I have slight problems with the last episode, because there are people that are in the mansion who are not addressed, like Tildy and Nightcrawler.
Yeah. So, it does feel like that episode was supposed to be a few before, right?
Yeah. Because I feel like that episode needed to be before Nightcrawler came back to the team. So.
Fun little tangent. Maybe that is the case, that there was an original order, and they're like, close enough. Because we found out that happened a lot with the animated series stuff. I sent you a picture when I bought this, but like did the podcast. I've recently been on this nostalgia kick of buying like DVDs from Goodwill.
Yes.
Long story, we can get into some other time. But like, I got the Iron Man animated series on DVD.
Yes.
And so I was, I plan on watching them on DVD. It's like one of my like kind of things whenever I have free time during the holidays. Yeah, there you go.
There it is for the video watchers. Yep.
But while I have them, I'm backing them up digitally anyway, just so because disc rot or whatever.
Right.
And so I was going through the episodes, and for a while I was using IMDb to input the titles in, and I just so happened to catch in the middle that there are title cards at the beginning of the Iron Man episodes. They started not matching. Iron Man had that problem too. They had different episode orders and stories. So now, I'm at some other time when I actually have time. You have to
retitle and double check everything.
I have to go figure out what the actual order is supposed to be, and then go figure those episodes out. It's so interesting. This is so common in two different decades. I mean, but two adjacent decades, but 2 decades of animation. Yeah. Anyway,
we are not going to be doing Iron Man on this show, sadly.
That's another. I was talking to JC about like the Mandarin is on the cover, but like the old version of the Mandarin. I'm like, that is such a wild take on the Mandarin, especially because like. That DVD came out in 2010. So it's in between. But like, and you showed me a picture of how he's depicted now in the comics, and it's
one of his most recent ones from a couple of years ago.
It's a little less
obvious,
dated, I guess. I don't know. Like, there's like I don't want to get into nuance here, but anyway, the whole thing about like episodes being like in different orders and stuff is just crazy. Like that is so common, but also that there's not like a bigger. I would think that all these episodes, like all these series that did this, there would be some sort of like official guide, like make it a fun story, like it'd be cool if like Disney, I guess, if you ever hear this, like we already know that the 92 series had an out of order thing, and it got corrected on Disney Plus, and we heard that from the Leewalds.
Yep.
It'd be fun if in one of these behind the scenes of the making of the show, the original show or whatever, they explain that story and then put the correct order out there for so there's like a canonical finite thing, but also we get a fun story of like why it happened, because like we could find out like from the Leewalds or Larry Houston or something that in this one episode like Wolverine only had like one arm or something, so we had to send it back, and that's why this episode went in order first. Or I guess maybe there's a chance it's not a fun story, and that's why they didn't.
I think that's the problem. Is it's probably not a fun story,
okay.
And also like just from like a record keeping scenario, I feel like the further back you went, the less those stories get remembered, because for us as fans of the show, it feels like a big deal, but when you're somebody like a Larry Houston or the Leewalds and stuff like that, who, granted, they loved this series and the follow-ups to it and such, but that was like a Tuesday for them. Like, and I've had people ask this about me from like my WWE days, where they'll ask me about certain storylines, and I was there for 2.5 years, 3 episodes of TV a week, which was 5 hours of content, plus an additional 3 hours if there was a pay-per-view that week too. There are things that people talk about that I don't remember happening because I was in such a glut of content at that point. So
that's true. Like everybody's working in entertainment. Like they were working. Like for example, like with the I can talk about this now because it's out. But I did a whole set of music. I do a lot of music for YouTube Audio Library, but a new set came out at the beginning of July. Which also, if anybody that's used my music from the YouTube Audio Library is listening, thank you, because I haven't gotten updated. I'm gonna get probably like in 12 hours.
Were you at like 60 million the other day?
That's the thing. I'm gonna get another update sometime in the middle of like 12 hours from now. But the last update I got, it was over 61 million streams for 9 or 10 songs, which I've never had a single song do 1 million, let alone all that. So massive success. But also like all that music I did the previous year. It's just the nature of how creating things works. Is like you work on it, you don't know how it's gonna, when it's gonna release or get distributed. But I got tagged in something from ESPN Brazil and also one of the BBC overseas things and stuff. And I was like, that's weird. And like watched a clip, I was like, I don't know anything about sports. and stuff. And it took like a full 15 seconds. We're like, I wrote the music for this.
Right.
I was like, okay, now I remember the song.
and before we get back to the actual story of what we're talking about, I will say I've heard this anecdotally from people who especially do gameplay content where like they'll have bits that happen in the middle of like a Grand Theft Auto video or a Minecraft video or something like that the audience latches onto and they love the shit out of it. But when you've done a Minecraft video every week for 8 years, like the guys at Rooster Teeth did for Achievement Hunter and stuff like that, people will go up to them, say a joke out of context, and they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Because it's 1 minute of thousands of hours of content, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I get that.
So if you ever come up to somebody who does content professionally, unless it is a reoccurring bit that you know they like, they talk about it all the time, or they've made it into a t-shirt, do not be offended if those people do not get the reference. So,
but make sure anytime you see JC at a con to bring up Cyclops semen.
See, that's a bit, Rod. So I'll remember it, and I'll be offended by it.
That's what I'm counting on. Anyway,
you and the Cyclops semen, and then constantly Punker Ducky bullying me online. It's great. It's fucking great. Thanks, Punker Ducky.
So yeah, Warren volunteers has gone too far. Kitty wants to go, but she has to take care of Tildy. And then they have the saddest shot of Tildy, like in like the TRL windows.
Yes,
above,
watching everybody leave,
and she's just like sad.
They're in the bay for the Blackbird.
Okay, that makes sense because it kind of looked like the danger room thing or whatever.
But there was a great "I told you so" like vibe from Kitty to Wolverine, like that what we alluded to earlier with Kitty was right. She totally gives him the like, see, you fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm a child, basically. I'm 18 years old, and I'm telling you, you fucked up, old man.
She's like, you should. It's almost like you should have destroyed the facility when you had the chance. He's like,
literally take the girl who disrupts stuff and have her just walk through the fucking computer.
Yeah.
I'm mad for Kitty.
Yeah. Also, they brought up something later too, like, because one of Wolverine's points is like, you can protect her, but also you can get her out if we need to. I love that they have in the back of their head this mansion is going to get destroyed at any point in time, so you can get her out.
Especially if she turns into a giant red kaiju.
Oh, see, I didn't even think about that. I thought even if like just somebody takes over the mansion and destroys it, he can get her out of there. But like, if they're
you're right. That's 100% he was alluding to. But I'm just Tildy gets upset. She goes giant kaiju fight.
Yeah, but what I didn't think about till later, we'll see, is they're not even like factoring in Xavier, who's also in that building.
Yep.
So then back at the MRD facility, the X-Men show up and get attacked by Sentinels. It's clearly a trap. It does that like suspenseful cut to commercial that we talked about this before, doesn't really work in streaming days. I kind of wish, I don't wish for commercials, but I know that some streaming services have like the ad option.
Yeah, like there's the Netflix non-premium, which does have ads play it.
I don't know if they do this because I don't watch a whole lot of other streaming services, but I would love them to put that commercials during these actual parts.
So, on occasion, like when I'm just like, I need background, I will throw on Kitchen Nightmare, or not Kitchen Nightmare, Hell's Kitchen on Plex. And the commercial breaks that are cut in the show do not line up when the Plex commercials run. Like, they literally will be in the middle of, like, somebody talking, and then you'll see them come back. It'll do a regular cut to commercial and then come right back from the commercial. They do not actually line it up with their ad units, which is really dumb to me.
And I think even like with something like Disney, this shouldn't be default, because especially if you're paying for, like, a non-ad thing, it shouldn't be there. But if you can opt into, I think it'd be fun to put in like relevant commercials, because they know what you're watching. They know someone watching like X-Men or Wolverine and the X-Men. This is a very specific audience.
Yeah.
And there's always new X-Men toys. Put the ad for Disney's new X-Men toys there.
No, I have a better one for you, Rod. You do what Toy Galaxy does when they do their mid-episode transition, and you use a classic commercial for the nostalgia. Like, I would love that. From the era that the show was live, do one of those commercials. That would be my request. Like, give me the fucking Pizza Hut commercial during X-Men 92.
I would love that. I know that's like the actual like wish list thing. I was thinking more on a logistical sense because like they probably don't have like rights and stuff or whatever. But like I don't know.
Or
anyway.
all those tapes have been destroyed and are at like 420 quality at best. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes it more fun and nostalgic.
Yep.
Anyway, but then we come back from not the commercial break, and Storm. It looks like Storm's going to win. She takes out a Sentinel, but then gets taken out by.
She keeps getting taken out in this fight by being shot from behind.
Yeah.
Like 6 times. Like she does like something really, really good and impressive, and then she just gets taken out by another shot. Like this Storm has no defensive capability for some reason.
We don't know a lot about this Storm.
No, we don't.
Like, she just
we only really got the episode of her rejoining the team, and that was it.
Yeah, she doesn't have a ton of agency. Not agency, like I don't get a sense of her personality, I guess is what I'm saying in this. I
agree with that.
In this show, but like, I don't know, maybe we will eventually. But then
in our 7 episodes left or 8 episodes left,
there's a chance, I guess. But
considering the last 3 episodes are a 3-parter, I don't think there's much of a chance.
But then my favorite note, big old fight, like there's
big old fight with lots of team ups.
Yeah.
So the one highlight, because I always have to pick my favorite highlight from like a choreo perspective, is the Sentinel that goes to step on Emma, and Emma basically like turns herself diamond to become the nail that you step through like on a staircase. That was such a cool thing. And then like the Sentinel's like, my foot is destroyed, and Cyclops shoots it in the head. I loved that shot.
The Emma thing was so horrifying on 2 levels for me because like getting stabbed through my foot or my hand or like my like irrational fear, you know.
Thank God it's not your mouth.
Yeah. I had to get over that. Like there's a whole but also like it's kind of horrifying because usually they pull back on the animation of the weight of these things when they attack, because you're expecting like Emma or somebody to like just hold their hands up and push back on the Sentinel. So,
yeah,
like,
kind of like when Rogue stopped Tilby from stepping on people, like she just held it there. Yeah.
So for the weight to just like go down, even though you see her pierce immediately, it's still like it takes your breath away for a second. You're like, oh, okay. So because you're not used to seeing that like intense. It's almost like the slap from or the almost slap in the last episode. It's like the momentum is almost more shocking.
Yeah.
But then this is more exposition talk because I didn't quite grasp this until they said it. But like, there's this move between like Cyclops and Nightcrawler and Logan and Forge.
They're all trying to get Forge into the building. Is the end of the day. Yeah.
To put the virus. This very 2000s plot. Like put the virus.
It was Independence Day. They wanted to Independence Day this. Yeah.
And
but they skipped the whole part of Forge making the virus. It was just like implied.
But then Cyclops ends up getting cupped in the hands of one of the Sentinels, and it blasts out. And then it cuts to like Trask and Senator Kelly. He's like, "See, that was AI predicting his move." And I was like, "It was? Okay,
it's a really bad prediction."
I guess it was that he was able to like he lost his hands, but I guess the cupping was the prediction thing, so it didn't. I don't know.
I think a part of it was also that early understanding of AI of like, for every failure, you're still learning kind of scenario. So we could sacrifice 1 million of these Sentinels and they're just going to learn how to not be demolished. So like, cool, we see the blonde lady in the slinky outfit. You don't step on her. That's the learning, you know?
And I like that really though was the setup for the next line where Trask was like, yeah, they learn, and so they're the ones that actually set up the trap to lure the X-Men to this facility. And Kelly was like, "Whoa, they're the ones that set the trap." I was like,
"Right,
okay, I guess that's kind of a cool." Our Master Mold was the one that set the trap. So that's
because
kind of
they're treating the AI like all the AI is Master Mold. That's like the hive mind excuse of like they set it up, but it's like saying ChatGPT set up a trap for all of us, which will happen.
Which is probably already happening, yeah. Did I see a headline saying that ChatGPT chats are now like indexed on Google or something?
ChatGPT tried to clone its own algorithm.
Fun. No, I thought I saw something that like every like people's like ChatGPT conversations are indexed online now or something.
Great. You have Trask, you have Kelly, you have Warren Worthington II, and then Sybil is there. And she's basically like, "All right, it's go time. Let's do this."
Warren's dad actually sees him in the security footage.
And he doesn't say it, though. He literally is like, he reacts to it, and they're like, what's going on? He's like, nothing. You know?
Yeah, and then we never come back to it.
Yep. But then they do mention the anonymous tip about the Brotherhood.
Yeah,
and,
we're engaged.
Yeah, they're engaged with the Brotherhood, and you cut to see the MRD is attacking that awful tower that is just an eyesore in this town that nobody gave a shit about, apparently.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that that's there because I'm like, oh no, they didn't really attack them that hard. That's just how it looks.
It's looked like crap and had a giant hole in the side of it for, since Rogue was a member of the Brotherhood. So,
and then Quicksilver comes in and saves them from one of the Prowlers, and they have kind of a little bit of a tussle, but they basically defeat the attack.
I do like that his solution to take out the last Prowler is the underworld trick, where he takes the gun and just shoots a giant hole in the floor. And that's enough that the Prowler gives out and goes out from under it. Yeah. Obviously done a little different than, is it Kate Blanchett who was in Underworld? No.
Oh no, Beckinsale, right?
Yeah, Beckinsale.
Yeah, Beckinsale.
Yeah. Beckinsale did it to herself. He did it to the Prowler and then gives Domino her guns back.
Yeah. Domino's thanks. And then Avalanche picks up one of the helmets and hears on the radio like what's happening, and that's
which is the X-Men are being attacked, and Blob's reaction is, "Good, I hate those guys."
Yeah,
which is a very Blob thing to say.
And Quicksilver is like, "Well, we're gonna do the craziest thing. We're gonna save the X-Men."
Yep. But they were also like, "Well, how did the MRD know where we are?" And Pietro's like, "Yeah, my dad turned on us," and everybody seems very okay with that.
Or they're not surprised. I guess.
Nobody's shocked by it. So,
then back at the mansion, Tildy full on does like the girls from The Shining to Kitty.
Yep. Yeah, she does.
And then Tildy gets to do to Kitty what Kitty did to Logan, because Tildy's like, they're coming for me, and Kitty's like, who? It's like the MRD. She's like, no, they're not. And Tildy's like, I literally saw them.
And then she's like, on TV. And Tildy's like, no.
And then she starts like...
The little girls from The Shining is a great description of the vibe here, because it was like, it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and then she kind of flares up a little bit, right? And Kitty's like, no, let's be cool.
The MRD aren't coming. Doorbell.
Yeah, doorbell rings, and then she looks through the little peephole thing, and it's like, it's definitely the MRD. And then this is going to be a lot of back and forth. Then back at the facility... Forge is trying to run into the building. The fight is still happening. He's still not quite able to get in. A Sentinel almost kills Storm while she's down, but then Quicksilver comes in to save her.
While Domino presumably headshotted that thing too.
Oh yeah, and
because her gun is smoking. And let's be real, of that entire team, the only one I trust with the gun is Domino.
Domino, right?
So, yeah.
And then it does this little cutaway to Master Mold's like database center, I guess, or whatever. It says it's assessing a new target, recalculating stuff, and activating a bunch of other Sentinels.
On screen, there were, because I paused it because I'm that much of a nerd, it was at least 30, because there was 4 very clear rows of them that were like 5 deep, and then there was 2 more on each side from shoulders, so it was at minimum 30 Sentinels being activated.
That's cool. Yep. And then that was the tense non-commercial break. And when we come back from that, the MRD just decide to break into the mansion once again, paralleling reality a little too hard.
Yep.
And Kitty and Tildy phase into the sublayer with Xavier, and that's the point where I'm like, wait, he's here too. Yeah. So like when Logan was like, you can get her out. What about him?
Fuck him.
And so
here's the thing: if you let him die here, that butterfly effect for the future is going to go really off.
That's true. That's crazy.
Because that's a time paradox at that point. Because if you've gotten word from the future on shit, and then the person dies in the modern day, maybe that's why Wolverine was okay with it. It's like, no matter what, he's obviously not going to die. Because it would literally create a time paradox.
I also like Kitty's little like talk down to Tildy in this one. She's like, no reason to get upset. Turn to 100-foot like energy monster or whatever. And I was like, who talks to a child like this? And then the little girl, I feel like she was animated even paler this time. Tildy, And she was there like, okay.
And then we get a shot where Kitty pulls somebody through a wall, and I'm setting this as the reminder for myself for the follow-up Instagram post. There are lots of great shots from comics where Kitty is like half phasing into a wall and like pulling people through. And in like certain versions of Kitty, it's like, yeah, she's just knocking them out. But there's like what is it called? After the Fall, it was the post Hellfire Gala Massacre, where Kitty just straight up kills people by doing that and leaves them like in the walls and shit.
So I'm used to either having like hearing about crazy, extreme runs like that, kind of like the Avatar, like bloodbenders and stuff,
right?
Or it being more the cartoon or whatever. For reasons we go into another episode, I've like rewatched while I'm exercising. I rewatched the first two like 2000s Fantastic Four movies.
Yep.
And in general, those are the happy-go-lucky. Like, these are just fun powers where Reed turns into a parachute and stuff.
Yep.
But then there's this random line in the second Fantastic Four movie where Invisible Woman, like, looks at, I forget who it is, somebody, like, one of the villains, and is like, I could it was to Doctor Doom. He's like, I could create a force field inside someone and expand until they explode. I'm like, that shit got dark so quick. Like, you were just like, it was so anyway, because the whole time it was just Jessica Alba being funny, and like then it just went to like she's like, yeah, I could just kill you, right? And I was like, whoa, okay. Mm-hmm. Anyway, when we come back from commercials, or no, we were back from commercial.
I can't wait to give you nightmares by just sending you a bunch of comic screenshots of Kitty Pryde killing people.
Nice. Yeah.
It is just going to totally mess with your perception of the character. It's great.
But Senator Kelly is upset that the Brotherhood is there. And I guess, I don't know, he didn't expect them to team up or whatever. I thought that they were being taken care of.
Yep.
And then Avalanche actually helps the X-Men get inside with what I called a sloppy fastball special with Blob.
I called it a bowling ball, but yes.
Okay.
Yep.
It was like this weird, like, it was like super uncoordinated. They even animated it to be kind of like clunky and stuff.
And then like after Blob goes through the wall, he also does the whole like checking on his head because he's kind of like zonked out from it and stuff. Yeah.
Because like they've made it clear that his like core and his torso is unstoppable. We're not quite sure about like the skull cavity and other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Kitty takes this is what Kitty takes out the MRD soldier, like you mentioned. And then this is one of the things I mentioned last episode about like small details you can tell like people who aren't obsessed with X-Men wrote. Did it bother you at all that Wolverine called Blob Slim?
Oh, because it's a nickname for
Cyclops.
Scott?
Yeah.
It didn't bother me until you said it, because but I also don't think I've heard in this version of the show him use that nickname for Scott. I could be wrong, but I don't think I've heard it, but obviously he's saying it in like a derogatory manner, obviously.
The very 2000s.
Which is whatever, but also like it didn't bother me until you said it, and now that you've said it, it's going to bother me a lot. So thank you for that, Ron.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also everybody else listening. And then Wolverine takes out all the Prowlers. He's clawing through them. The AI may be smart, but none of the machinery is smart enough yet to not, be adamantium proof.
Yes.
Then Nightcrawler teleports Forge to Master Mold, and they don't get a chance or Forge doesn't get a chance to insert the virus because there's like several Sentinels there. I guess that was the reacquiring target thing. Outside, the fight's still happening, and then it bounces back and forth really quickly between like the fight happening outside and then Kitty at the mansion getting surrounded.
Yep. Toad just straight up wants to retreat. Quicksilver also wants to take off, and Cyclops is like, nope, we got to stay, we got to hold the line, and then we got to give them time to finish this, and then Quicksilver gives the heroes like thing, which I like for him. Like, it just makes sense that he's like, yeah, we did the right thing, we're kind of getting the glory for helping out, but also like, I don't want to die with these assholes,
Oh yeah, he's like, we're just like leave you to this.
And then in the facility, we actually get a fastball special.
Blob fastball specials Wolverine to the computer, and he stabs it.
Well, he also goes right through the torso of what we find out is the last remaining Sentinel from this whole thing, too.
Oh, yeah, a little bit later on.
Yeah.
And then all the Sentinels freeze. It's a very, like, War of the Worlds thing, right? When you get the one beacon, everything goes down.
Yeah,
I did like that.
They're in the ice shield from Bobby, and I'm not going to lie, like, I kind of got a little bit of PTSD from Remember It in that.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like, oh, yeah, like, because Toad is cowering in the middle of it, like, kind of like, you know, to an extent, like, what would Leech have been if Magneto wasn't in the dome with him, you know? Like, yeah. So,
yeah, he's like yelling, stop it, and then it stopped. I love it. Toad's like, I did it.
Yeah, I'm the hero.
I did like that Forge made a point to say, like, they're still activated, they just don't know what to do.
Right.
That was a really interesting point to make.
Yeah, it was a very specific choice, because it means they're not turned off. Like, they're still a thing. We're not fully out of danger if these things decide to reactivate right now either.
Yeah. I guess that also was supposed to foreshadow, like you said, the last remaining Sentinel thing maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Ooh, I just got feeling back in my face. That's interesting.
Well,
it doesn't hurt, so that's good. I also made sure to take a bunch of ibuprofen before this started.
Good. But yeah, you know, Trask is like, you know, Master Mold's offline, all the comms are down. Yeah, so it's bad for everybody. Logan is basically like melted, for lack of a better description.
Did Kelly orders, is it Sybil?
Mm-hmm.
To get MRD, all the MRD to the facility? I couldn't figure out like what was happening there.
Yeah. So he was like trying to get MRD to come back and take out the X-Men, but all the comms were down to all the MRD, it sounded like, too.
Because that was part of the AI thing. Yeah, that was one of the things where it's like, yeah, you put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, you should still just have a walkie-talkie or a cell phone. There is that moment where Quicksilver is like, you owe us. Like, he's like, right. Yeah, we're going to call in a favor on this.
That has to come back, or I'm like flipping tables, because they made such a big deal out of them saving the X-Men.
We're going to save the X-Men. Yeah, there was so much to that. It was very loaded. I fully agree with you on that.
But then back at the mansion, I love, was it, I forgot who, I guess it was Logan that told like Emma to like wipe the MRD's memories or something.
And then tells Bobby and Beast to get rid of the Sentinels too.
That's wild. I guess like that is kind of a solution.
It was very Mafia vibes.
So it was just like, we're just going to end this bloodline, basically. Mm-hmm. Like right here.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like you mentioned earlier, Wolverine does get in touch with Xavier, and they find out that nothing in the future has changed. So
no ripple, no butterfly effect, nothing.
I do like that. You know, we mentioned several episodes ago. Like I mentioned, like I wonder how much the butterfly effect is going to go back and forth. But I almost like this better that they're acknowledging it. So because it means the writers are thinking about it. Yeah, like how it affects everything in the future and stuff. So like.
Or was it the scenario of the future got to where it was because Wolverine made that fuck up a few episodes ago of not destroying the facility when he had the chance to, the Kitty is right thing. Yeah. And maybe if he had destroyed it then we wouldn't have gotten the future scenario.
Or if it's like the Oedipus thing, something they did there made it much worse.
Is what caused it. Yeah.
Which is kind of what we see here at this little tag at the ending is like in the woods, you see this. I'm going to give him credit. This is like one of the more like visceral images that they've animated for this show. It's like the Sentinel with a hole in its gut, like the Death Becomes Her, like Goldie Hawn look, like crawling,
yeah,
through the woods.
I also love that this implies that this thing crawled through an entire city.
Oh yeah, think about that.
Because it was on the wharf/docks facility.
Yeah, then
so it had to get to the mountains, which. If you're on the water near New York, there are not nearby mountains. So this thing crawled through a fucking city and then like across the interstate to get to where it was.
And people are like, yeah, that's Thursday.
Yeah. They're like, our world is really fucked right now.
Then it kind of does that like the X-Men Sentinel version of like the eyes lighting up or what was that last frame of Blade when his eyes, he wouldn't open his eyes as they had to animate them.
Right.
And it's like, and
well, it's also like, Master Mold's back online.
Yeah, back up. Like we said, like this was at a time where like the Cloud was kind of a novel idea. Because I can't remember if we had like I don't think we had a widespread use of the Cloud yet. But like I think the idea of like maybe like Dropbox and stuff was like starting to like kind of come into like
Starting.
an idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like a interesting, like that would have been a really big stinger at the end of this.
Yeah, because when I was post WWE, I was writing for a website, and I don't think I actually had a Dropbox account until I started writing for that website, and that would have also been 2009. So
gotcha. Yeah, and that was the clunky version where you like had to manually upload to.
Oh yeah, there was nothing that was auto updated. Like if you wanted to transfer your files from one computer to another, you had to drag the folder over, let it upload, and then re-upload it and drag it back out. Like yeah. No.
But it's good to be back in the story.
I really dug this episode. This show, up until 97, had the best fight choreo of any of the X-Men series.
I agree. Yeah.
Like you got some cool moments in Evolution with like power synergy and stuff like that, but the full-fledged fights feel very great in this show to me.
And to Evo's credit, it was like we mentioned back when we were covering it, like that was more of a high school based show.
Yeah, it was the Buffy vibes. Yeah.
But yeah, this one, like I'm kind of curious to know, like, that rogue ninja fight thing, like how do you write that on paper, or was that left up to like animators and keyframe people? Like I don't know, like.
I mean, I even dug like during the big fight. At one point, Cyclops gets whacked, and Rogue grabs his power by touching his face, and they even do like the quick animation of like the power suck where he like you see his veins and it grows, and then she's like shooting stuff. The show just does fights really, really well. Like I wouldn't go as far as saying it's my favorite, because obviously 92 and then 97 have that title for me, but like the fights here are really fucking good. So
I could see, if I was the age I was when 92 happened, when Wolverine the X-Men came out, I could see this being my favorite show too.
Yeah, like, I could definitely understand that,
because it's pretty good. But it's just like there's something about the original nostalgia and stuff. This is not bad, and also I'm not like the biggest Wolverine fan. I don't mind him. It's just like I think it was partially to do with like everyone else was a Wolverine like stan, and my brother was his favorite, so I had to be the opposite. But I'm just saying we haven't had a Storm in the X-Men show yet, so putting the idea out there to Disney. Did
you see I sent you the photo the other night, right?
I don't have any.
Storm on the hippo.
Oh, kind of. I didn't know what that was. Is that
that is a cover of a recent Storm issue with. I'm not reading the series, candidly, because there are too many books out right now, and I don't think I've actually read a comic book in 5 weeks, so I just have a stack right now that I need to get caught up on. But yeah, it was like, it's Storm leading her series, and she's like, it's very much the like King Arthur on the horse vibes, except it's Storm on like the like very violent looking hippo. So.
That's so funny. Yeah, like I've said this several times, like I love her in every form except for the Halle Berry one. So
I can't wait for you to meet Halle Berry just like drunkenly at a party, and you just tell her everything.
She'll probably agree with me, because her is great and everything else. I even kind of thought she was fun in the Catwoman movie in a really campy way, There was just no good thing about and I think she does agree. Yeah, no, she would agree, because she's talked about like how badly she was treated on that movie and stuff, and like how the writing was terrible and stuff. It's just that it did everyone in that scenario wrong. It did the fans wrong, did her wrong, it did the story wrong, like. But yeah,
at least we know from Kevin Feige directly the last time we were seeing any of the Fox X-Men will be in Doomsday. So
yeah, they made the announcement they're going to be. They did what I actually mentioned earlier in this. I don't know, maybe last year or something on the podcast. Is like I hope. So Marvel officially announced, or I think they officially announced that they're going to hire like younger actors.
Yes.
And stuff. So which I
am all about.
I mentioned that before. It's like I would rather see relatively unknowns really embody these characters than to try to have like I mentioned earlier, I rewatched the first two the original Fantastic Four movies, and Jessica Alba's not bad. Iconic like 2000s actor and everything, but like I don't know if I buy her as Sue Storm
because you already have these preconceived notions of who Jessica Alba is.
Yeah, and she's like, especially up to the guy that played Mr. Fantastic, that seemed like a weird age gap. But like, I understood at the time and now why she was, because like that's going to get the box office numbers and stuff. But like, yeah, it was just too much. It was like too big of a star. Even the dude Michael Chiklis for
he's from the Commission, the Shield.
Yeah, I was like, man, I can't get that out of my head. And Chris Evans at the time was in between for me because I was such a fan of him from Not Another Teen Movie.
I was gonna say he was Not Another Teen Movie at that point to me. So he was like he was a bastard Johnny, which I was okay with, like because that version of Johnny at that day and age was kind of like a shit heel, you know.
But I'd rather see like another Hugh Jackman happen where it's like they're a star now, but
I mean,
like X-Men made them.
I know that the current cast of the Fantastic Four, like everybody has been in stuff, but outside of Pedro Pascal, I don't think anybody else has like that mainstream gravitas as he does. So I was actually cool with like, I don't think I've seen any of the other three people in stuff. I know they've been in stuff, but like just not what I've consumed.
I didn't watch the last few Mission Impossible movies, so I wasn't familiar with Vanessa Kirby. But holy crap, was she the perfect Sue Storm? Like,
she's great.
So much more badass than like once again, nothing against Jessica Alba because they also did her so dirty in those movies. Because once again, where the very 2000s thing was like the joke was always that she always had to be naked in both movies.
Yep. They had one joke for her, and that was it.
And this is my little like soapbox tangent moment.
Get it? Do it.
You could have argued that it was of its time, except in the first movie, and I didn't realize this until I rewatched it recently, that Reed specifically makes the point to say that she doesn't turn invisible. She's able to bend light around things to make them invisible. So the whole thing about her needing to get undressed every time she gets invisible is not true.
Right. Huh.
And
That's awkward.
In the movie, the first time she goes invisible in front of the public, I don't know if you remember, like they get down to her bra where there's a bra floating in the air.
Yes.
And then she starts to take it off, and then she becomes visible again, and the entire crowd.
Yeah, and she does the like, I'm gonna cover stuff. Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, so Reed just said you can make anything invisible, and then she does. Like, there's times where she makes like a pimple on her head invisible. There's times when like she makes other people that are far away from invisible and stuff. So that's even without me trying to defend like her honor or anything. It just doesn't make sense. It's so weird.
I'm just gonna blame Fox.
Yeah. They messed up Storm and like those little aspects of Fantastic Four. But I also forgot that Lawrence Fishburne was Silver Surfer. That was like
I completely forgot that until you just said that.
And also, the new Fantastic Four movie literally was the two Fox Fantastic Four movies better. Because, okay, I guess this episode's not coming out until like a month after Fantastic Four is in theaters. Minor spoilers.
Literally a full month. Yep.
Yeah, so minor spoilers, you can just stop listening now.
Yeah, stop listening now because we are going to wrap up in a second. So, 3, 2, 1, you've been warned.
Like everything from the Silver Surfer, obviously, to Galactus, to the first one was the origin story, to Sue dies in both and resurrects in both by the power cosmic.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot. She gets stabbed by the thing. The spear that Doctor Doom throws.
You can't say that. You can't say by the thing.
By the spear or whatever. And the Silver Surfer brings her back to life with the power cosmic. And in Fantastic Four 2025, Franklin has the power cosmic, or that's what Galactus said at least, and brings Sue back to life. I was like, they really just took the Fox scripts. They're like, these could have been good. Let's make it.
I am so happy with the portrayal of Galactus.
Yeah,
they did what should be the goofiest thing to see in real life, and they did Galactus well.
Yeah, he seemed huge. And I don't know
he seemed huge, but he seemed real.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw some of the behind the scenes stuff.
No, not at all.
So Ray, Ralph? I can't remember the actor's name. Innocent? He was actually in the suit, and they did a lot of miniatures for when he had to walk through New York.
Oh, really?
So that was a lot of the weight. Like, I watched Corridor Digital guys, I think, like, point this out. Like, when you see Galactus' foot step on New York, you can see the props rattle because they're just like miniatures on a set. And so there's
Ralph Innocent, yes.
Okay, so I did Ralph Innocent. So when he's stepping, the stuff on the ground is rattling, and it might not even be that realistic to true physics if a giant was like romping around. But we don't know what a giant would look like, you know.
Of course.
But we know what miniatures look like. And so it's the same thing. Like why a puppet will seem more believable than CGs because we've seen puppets our whole lives and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's that immensity, and they did a good job of like the eyes just coming out of nowhere, and they committed to the suit.
What I appreciated, because even though he was a giant, he did not move like a Godzilla kaiju.
Yeah.
Like, you know how there's like that whole thing of like the Power Rangers and kaiju and stuff like that when they fight, like for them to throw a punch, it takes like 5 seconds for the punch to happen. Even though he wasn't throwing punches, he was moving what felt like a normal speed. And I don't know if it may be physically inaccurate, but I preferred it, honestly.
Oh, that was another thing. The Silver Surfer takes out Galactus in both movies, too.
Again, I blocked out so much of the other movie.
Like, at the end, the Silver Surfer basically does an Independence Day, like, kamikaze into Galactus. Same way as, what is... Not Norrin Rad, but what is the new movie?
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Like... she basically does the same thing except into a portal. They literally just took all these things, like, how can we do this better, and did it to, and not much credit, but the small credit to the Rise of the Silver Surfer movie. I didn't notice this until I just rewatched it recently. In the big cloud thing, there is the silhouette of Galactus's helmet, so I guess he's supposed to be behind the cloud. That still sucks.
I don't think it was ever even the behind the cloud. I think it was he was a hive, and they just did that as their nod to the comics.
Really?
But,
Ugh, okay.
Yeah. Last thought that I just have to share, which I love. At Comic-Con, somebody showed Vanessa Kirby the skin for Sue Storm in Marvel Rivals for Malice. Have you seen the skin for Malice, Rod?
No, but I think I heard about this clip because she says she hopes that she gets to play her.
It's like Dominatrix Sue Storm. So
nice.
That's the comic
I know this
version.
character. I didn't know that's what her name was.
Yeah, that's Sue Storm's alternate, like, when she goes bad, basically. And Reed saved her with the power of telling her to stop being emotional, I want to say.
And that's something that happened in the first Fantastic Four movie.
It was the 60s or 70s, so that was a choice by a very male writer at that point.
That was another thing that, like, I didn't you know, it's a little cringy watching back on in the first Fantastic Four movie. Like, Reed is telling Sue that she needs to learn to control her emotions. She gets her powers.
Notice how Pedro Pascal did not attempt to do that in this movie?
So, that's another good point. Something I loved about... I will admit, I was a little skeptical, like cautiously optimistic about Pedro Pascal, or all the cast, but like, specifically Pedro Pascal. But seeing what they did with him here, I was like, this completely makes sense. Because yeah, the smartest man in the world would be terrified of everything. And Pedro's a good scared person. Like, he plays scared guy really well. And so, like he said...
Scared and awkward.
Yeah, well, I even saw, I think it was Eric Voss comment on this, like, whether it was on purpose or not, like, he seemed very neurodivergent coded, which is, like, hits home for a lot of people. It's like, he's trying his best because in his perspective of the world, he's being very objective, but it inadvertently hurts people around him, even if it's just, like, you know, emotionally or whatever. And he doesn't mean to do that, but he doesn't have any other way to communicate it. You know, like the whole argument between him and Sue about, like, you know, I'm not going to give up Franklin, but
you thought about it, yeah.
But like, I had to think about it because, like, if you're Galactus, he has a point, or if you're another person that aren't his parents, he has a point. It's not the right point, but from a purely statistical, you know, so like, I don't know. I love what they did with the whole cast in that movie, but I don't know. I hope it. Yeah, I don't know. I can't wait to see them all in Doomsday. This is really fun.
Same.
Anyway, was there anything else about this episode? I've gone on a tangent here.
Oh, we're done on this episode. We've been done for a while. Yeah.
Well, this was a great episode. I'm going to go probably take some edibles and more ibuprofen and hope that my face
just
doesn't
make sure
swell
when
up in
you're
the morning.
chewing the edibles, you do it on the other side of your mouth.
I won't even chew. I'm just going to swallow that shit whole. I'm not. When I texted you, like, I'm going to be even later because I need to stop by the grocery stores because I know my soft food palette for the next week is going to be. I had to just go buy that, and that's gonna. So no solid food for at least a couple days. But Side note: one of the reasons I needed to get this kind of squared away at least before next weekend is, long story short, I'm going to Disneyland for the first time next week, ever.
Wow, it took you longer than me to go to Disney, and I hate children. So.
Some friends are taking me. I've been to Disney World, but that was when I was like 10. So I've never been to Disneyland. One of my friends who is leaving the city for probably a little while, wanted to take me. I was like, you don't have to do that. And he's like, no, I want to see an adult, a 43-year-old man at Disney for the first time. I was like, all right, let's go.
So when you go into the park for the first time, there's a visitor center. Mm-hmm. They will give you a pin that says it's your first time going.
I'm totally going to do that. Yep. Anyway, so the next time you see me, I'll be Disney.
California Adventure is where the booze is, by the way.
Oh, we're not going to that one. But I will probably have some special candies in my body when I'm at Disneyland. So there you go. Anyway, thanks for joining us. If you have any thoughts, make sure to drop them into the comments for either the YouTube videos, Spotify upload, or official Instagram post about the episode. If you like what you heard, we'd appreciate a rating on the podcast app you're choosing. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, and CastBox. And I thought I saw her pick up Lucy. Okay, she's asleep.